Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze is sponsored by Dork Publishing, expanding minds through fantasy since 2018. Learn more at the Dork Publishing website, www.dorcpublishing.com.
Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and I'm your host, Kathy Blaze. Are you ready to have fun? We have today with us Mr. Funny Man himself, Jimmy Twice. Hello there.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Such a pleasure to have you here
Yes.
today. Oh, thank you. Such a gentleman, isn't he?
See, you thought I was rude. I am not.
I love your pink shirt.
Thank you.
So the wife must have dressed you today.
So the color is on her, the shirt is on me.
Oh, okay. I love the
We'll say it
color.
like that.
You know what I love when I see men feeling comfortable wearing pink. It's a nice color.
It looks good on us.
It does. It really
Especially
does.
when you wear it with confidence.
Yes.
Very true.
Welcome, Jimmy.
Well, thank you.
So, Jimmy, are you a native of Arizona?
I am not. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised. I moved here about 8 years ago in
Okay.
2014.
Okay. What brought you to Arizona?
A 6-month winter in Wisconsin. Never want to do anything like that again. And then just overall better opportunity and
Okay.
a more easy, relaxing place to live in. You know what I mean? Not so much of a concrete jungle like Milwaukee was.
Okay. I don't know a lot about Milwaukee, but I have a few friends in the industry that they're from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how are you dealing with Arizona heat?
It took me about 1.5 years for my core temperature to come up,
Uh-huh.
and then I was good. But I would rather have this than the cold and the snow and all of that.
Yeah.
Like that'll change it. That cold and the snow will change it. It'll
Well,
make things a lot different.
You've done it for 8 years, so you're doing well.
I think I'm good. I think I made it.
Yes. So Jimmy Twice, where did that stage name come from?
So my name is James, but my stepdad for the longest time called me Jimmy, and I hated it. You know what I mean? And then I went through this metamorphosis in myself where I wanted to embrace all of the things that I didn't like about myself, and that was one easy way to do that. So when I started rapping back in 2000.
Oh, he's rapping too. I didn't know that.
Not so much anymore. But the music still lives in me. But once I started rapping around that time, that's when my name changed to Jimmy Stewart, and it kind of unfolded from there. But my favorite movie is Goodfellas.
Okay.
And there's a character in Goodfellas named Jimmy Two Times.
Okay.
And it was just, when I was at that age when that movie came out, like everything was so, all of that life, all of that was so fantastic to me.
Right.
So it was something that stuck with me, and I ended up having twins.
Oh.
Sometimes I stutter. Sometimes I start stories over because I lose my train of thought. That's where the Twice comes in. So it went from Jimmy Two Times and not trying to steal that specifically to Jimmy Twice.
That's awesome.
And
It's
sometimes
amazing
Jimmy.
the stories in our life that helps us to develop who we are as a person or what we're doing in our lives.
Yeah.
I love that story. So did you specifically get into being a stand-up because of things that happened in your life?
Oh, for
Se,
sure.
your stepdad?
Oh, for sure. Comedians are some of the loneliest people on the planet. Mainly because, after people find out that it's your business to make people laugh on purpose, then they feel like it's their business to make you laugh. And that's not always inclusive circle, you know what I mean? So it's like people not always giving you the real them.
Right.
They're giving you a version of what the funny guy in you
right.
might want to see. So, just life in general made me want to be able to talk reckless and say the things that people never want to say and think and feel.
Right.
So, yeah.
You know what? We've had several comedians here. I mean, I love my comedian friends. I do. And the majority of them all said the same thing that you're saying today about being a comedian and being lonely and and some trauma or pain that they've had in their life. When you meet a comedian that may not, I don't know, may not exude that there's been some traumas or pain, do you notice a difference in that person compared to someone that has gone through things?
Oh yeah, there's a certain level of honesty in the first person you speak of. There's a
Uh,
certain level of honesty in that person that you can't fake.
mm,
And then a comedian who just wants to be funny and doesn't have any real backstory or back feeling as to why they needed to turn tragedy into triumph. Those are the ones that don't last long.
okay. Speaking of lasting long, okay, you've gone through that. You're the best medicine is speaking out. I truly believe that, and you know what, sharing and voicing what's going on in your life, because you know we hold it in.
Hmm.
That just keeps everything in there percolating, and
Hmm.
we never get rid of that. We never get healthy. Um, so you've done this. You've been being a stand up for how long now?
About 3 years now.
Okay,
About 3 years.
you're married, you got children,
Yes.
you live in a different state. So how is that changing you as a comedian?
Man, it's helping me to be the best comedian that I can be. Like, I don't know, like I said earlier, like if I can make my kids and my wife laugh, I know it's a real one. You
Uh-huh.
know what I mean? Like it's a real one if I can make them laugh, especially my daughters. I got twin
Because you
girls.
know what, you can't fake it with kids.
You cannot,
You cannot fake it
especially
with
your
them.
own kids that are teenagers. They
Yeah.
will yeah, okay. So that's but if I can make them laugh, I feel like it's all right.
Yeah, I strongly believe that as well. You can't fake it for your children.
No, they know. Even if they don't say it, they know.
Right. They know when things are going wrong. I mean, they are very observant. They may be in their little coloring books or doing whatever they're doing,
Yeah.
pretending they ain't listening or watching.
They're
But
very perceptive. Yes,
yes, they
they hear
are.
through those walls.
Yes, they are. So I want to get back to being a stand-up. It's I don't believe so because I've seen older comedians. Is there a time when you feel like it's time to hang it up?
With comedy, I never feel like it's a time to hang it up. With music, I feel like there's a time to hang it up on a large scale. But comedy, I feel like comedy and real comedians is just born in you. You know what I mean? Like I'm the same guy at a barbecue that I am on stage. It's just that on stage, it's about me.
Right.
At the barbecue, it's about the barbecue, and I just happen to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's pretty much the same thing. Um, I really try to find the funny and the levity and everything because it can't really be that. I've been through some things. It can't be that bad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What happens when you're having let's say the day isn't going so well, and people still want you to be funny? How do you deal with that?
Um, I don't know. I'm not good at not wearing it on my face,
Mm.
so I don't really think I get that far with people. If I'm not feeling it, it will be shown on my face. My energy will show that. It'll be a barrier around me that'll stop you from even asking me to be funny or expecting me to be funny. So I can't say I can answer that question.
Right. I get you. I get you. You know, like my producer was saying, this is just my face.
Right.
Like-
And sometimes that's just my face. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, you know what, I was telling someone one day that, you know, I had to practice that changing because, you know, people would think I was mean or was this. And it was like, so I would be driving down the street and I'd be looking in the mirror, make sure, oh, my forehead's wrinkled.
Listen, same thing. I keep a that's all the time. And it's not on purpose. So I have to
just years
yeah,
of
it's
doing
just
it.
me. And then like when I go into places, especially like businesses or places where I'm going to get a service or a product provided to me, and I know I look like that, like I have to do other physical things to show that I'm not really like I
Right.
look in my face right now. That's just how my face looks.
I know that.
So I try to like, be jolly in my movements or like, do some, anything just to like, okay, he's not coming in here to yell at anybody, even though his
Right.
forehead looks like he just got finished yelling at somebody.
So how would you describe your style?
Um,
I know a lot of people don't like that question.
I would say it's I guess is it a style? It's more storytelling and like anecdotal sharing than anything else. And I'm petty.
Mm.
So like the little things to me, I love making big deals out of them, especially when it comes to something funny that most people encounter or that people just don't want to say anything about. You know what I mean? Like going to the grocery store and grabbing a shopping cart and the shopping cart sticking, and that changing your whole shopping experience because you had to deal with that damn shopping cart. So stuff like that. Like I like that. I would say that's my style. Like
So would you say that you're authentic with your work? I mean, you wouldn't go somewhere and someone would say, you know what, he reminds me of Jimmy. He,
um, you probably could. You probably could find somebody that reminded you of me. Because everything I talk about is relative. Like we're human beings.
right.
Like we're human beings first before we're people.
True.
And when human beings are human beings, we're good. But when people start peopling, that's when things start to go awry. But it's a ever changing struggle. You know what I mean?
So Jimmy, we were talking about this being just natural for you. This is who you are. Um, so I'd like to know, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, where I would like to see myself is being more of a social media influencer with what I'm doing now. Being able to do some different things as far as acting on that. In 5 years, I plan to be a consistent working voice actor. I just started my voice acting about 6 months ago.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. That was something fun to do. But 5 years, yeah, I plan on 5 years. I don't want to be working a job. I want to be traveling, doing stand up, or being able to bring comedians where I am
Right.
and showcase and just help people spread the energy. I noticed that Arizona comedy scene is very cliquey. Like there's a lot of different cliques
It's
and
not
groups
just
and
it's
teams.
just not comedy.
Yeah,
It's the
okay,
industry and
okay.
whole.
So I guess I'm seeing that now on a small scale, and I've never, in anything that I've ever done, felt like I needed to be part of a clique.
Yeah.
I may have been part of cliques from here and there, but I never felt like I needed to be.
Yeah. You know what? I'm a native of Arizona.
Okay.
And that's, for me, that's just Arizona. Yeah, I always feel like you have the north side, the south side, the east side, the west side, and none of them ever shook hands. I mean, they don't know what's going on over here or what's going on the other side. It's like it's always been that way in my eyes. It's just been cliquish in that way.
That sounds like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, because that's exactly how our city is set up. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is probably in one of the top 3 most segregated cities in the country. So people live on their specific
Right.
sides of town. Realtors will sell to you that way and all types of stuff. So it's kind of crazy.
And it's really sad too, because people, all they know is what they hear say in the media about. It was this happening over here or this, and then they get this conclusion about who these people are that live over here, and which is so wrong.
Yeah, never really knowing those people
Right,
or
never
meeting
know.
those people.
Right. And I have to say, that's why I love this show, is because it brings people of all walks into our studio for our audience to get to say, hey, I've never heard of Jimmy, but I really enjoyed listening. I'm going to catch one of his shows. I mean, they may be from the other side, the other side of the tracks.
Right.
Right. But it gives people an opportunity to meet different people.
Right.
And
Laughs are laughs.
yes, it doesn't matter where you come from.
And they're good for the soul.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that is so true. It is, the industry is cliquish here in Arizona, and I think in some ways we're working in the different avenues to try to change that, and in your area also. So I hope you continue that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So you brought up something I want to talk about before we move on, is social media influence. I noticed that's something new, and that happened. I started to see that more after COVID. That we saw more of the comedians out there doing the little social media skits and things like that. How was that initially for you?
When I first started doing them, they were kind of awkward, kind of weird. But after a while, like it got to the point where it was like, I think this is funny, and it doesn't matter if anybody else does think it's funny. I'm just gonna put it out here, and if they do, that's great. But I think it is.
Right.
So, and like I said, I'm petty. So a lot of the things that I talk about are like little small things, and then I make them into into a big thing that's funny. But
You know what I love? That you know you're petty. You know, some people are petty, but they don't know it.
I'm definitely petty, and I think the reason I can be petty is because life isn't really that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. I've seen quite a few comedians out there doing their little skits out there, and it gives other people an opportunity to see you as well.
Yeah.
Especially during the time of COVID when things are shut down. And I don't know, besides doing skits, what other opportunity as a stand-up did you guys have during that time in case something like that happens again?
During COVID, there really wasn't an option. Like when
Oh.
like stuff was shut down, a lot of people. I mean, here in Arizona, I can't front. Not everything was shut down, and not everybody was following the rules.
Right.
There were some places that were still open, but those places weren't taking any acts, any nights, any bands,
Oh.
any DJs. So it really wasn't advantageous. The only thing you could do was take to social media.
Yeah.
And then even once you got on social media, for a stand-up comic, or at least a new stand-up comic like myself, it wasn't very easy to figure out how to relay this newfound comedic attitude you have to
Right.
no audience and just a camera.
Right.
So it was kind of weird.
Right. And again, like I was saying earlier, for those that were a little camera shy, and I'm sure it was much harder for them
Yeah.
than someone like you that you've been around a studio.
Yeah.
And I like to talk about that after, but I know you brought some media for us. I'd
Yeah,
like to,
yeah, I
I'd
brought a
like to
couple
take
clips.
a look at your
For sure.
Yes.
Those must be comfortable shoes. I bet you could walk all day in shoes like that and not feel a thing. I wish I had shoes like that.
My feet hurt.
Vanilla Ice.
No. It looks like, what's his name? Superfly.
Oh,
From the
from the
movie?
new one. The new one. What's his
Yes.
name? The young boy. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That was funny. Was that your version of what's his name? Forrest Gump.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I love
Yep.
that.
So when I made that video, I'm actually an EMT as well. So
Oh,
like
okay.
the job that pays the bills is I'm an EMT, and I do wildland EMT. So I'll go out for 2-3 weeks at a time and work with the firefighters out
Oh,
there
okay.
for wildland firefighting. And while I'm out there, like I literally have nothing to do but
to do this.
be petty about everything. Like I'm just sitting in an ambulance waiting for something to happen, hoping nothing happens. So I got all the time in the world.
Right. So did you have any experiences during the flooding?
No, I didn't do any of the FEMA work or anything during flooding. I really didn't start doing anything, I guess, really heavy EMT related until COVID.
Oh, okay.
So when comedy kind of trailed off,
Mm-hmm.
everything else kind of picked up.
Oh, yeah. That was a tough time.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
It was. But it was it for good comedians, it made a good comedian better. For comedians who were just in it for anything other than to express themselves, it broke them out. So it was a good filter.
Speaking of making a good comedian better, what do you do to improve on your craft?
Be aware. Try to be aware of the things that are quirks to me, that may make me angry, that may make me super happy. Being aware of those things and being able to like encapsulate them and put them out there for people to understand. Because like I said, it's always the little things. It's the smells. It's the glances. It's the little things for people that you never really get to share with anyone.
Right.
Like, so I like to be petty on a negative and positive level.
So, you speaking of changes here in Arizona, you've been here for 8 years, and you pretty much know the lay of the land
Mhm.
now. What would you like to see change in this the comedy stand-up industry here in Arizona?
I would like for there to be more comedy clubs open. That would make a difference for most comedians, because nowadays you got to stick to social media and try to find a comedy club, and I really wish that there wasn't a specific region you had to be in to have access to the network of comedians that you look up to, or that you want to be mentored by, or get advice from. So the fact that I would have to always drive to LA to be able to find a good comedy spot and hopefully luck up on a big comedian that I like seeing.
Right.
And here, that's not even an option. So
Well, like being an actor, we have all these social media groups for actors to get information and things and meet with other actors. Do you guys have that in the comedy world?
no,
No.
no,
Maybe
It's-
that's something.
at least not here.
Maybe that's
I haven't
something you
noticed
can
anything.
create.
That sounds like something. That sounds like
You
something.
said like that sounds like something.
It sounds like something. I've never really given it any thought,
Oh.
but it definitely sounds like
Do you
something that
think
needs to
that'd be
happen.
something that would benefit you guys?
I think it would, but it would take a lot of honesty on the comedians' levels first. Like all of the comedians would have to be honest with themselves and then honest with each other. And until that happens, you know what I'm saying? Like it's really not going to be. That's why I said that sounds like something.
Right.
But like I said,
It sounds like still it's an industry that still needs some work.
yeah,
You're right.
yeah, and that's because there's
Right.
always because of the place that comedy comes from. There's always competition,
Right.
and nobody knows that competition until you actually see them do what they do, and then
Right.
you formulate whatever judgment you have about them and keep
Sure.
it to yourself. But most people don't keep it to themselves; they act on it.
Right. Any upcoming projects?
Yes, I'm going to be at Stand Up Live tomorrow. I'm going to be at Horny Toad October 7th.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as stand up performances solidified, those are definitely in the books. Doing more voiceover work coming up. A couple months ago, I finished some voiceover work for an upcoming video game,
Okay.
which is really
Congratulations.
really nice. I can't give out the name because they made me sign
Right.
NDA before they released it. But yeah, like those, and I'm trying to put myself everywhere. You know what I mean? So social media has been really good for that, and just submitting for auditions and doing things locally around here. It's the best thing I'm doing right now.
So where can our audience find you?
You can find me on TikTok, Comedian Jimmy Twice, Instagram, Comedian Jimmy Twice, Facebook.com/Jimmy2, WICE. And you can Google me and I'll pop up.
Okay. It was a pleasure having you here with us, and
Thank
we
you.
look forward to more from Jimmy Twice. And thank you for joining us here today on Desertwood Days, and I'll catch you next time. Desertwood Days.